morning, healing friends. Steve here. And I'm going to set up the healing field for today within the World Healing Field. So, I ask Brotherhood of Light, please be present. The Deva of Healing, please be present. Sisterhood of Light, please be present. All of our helpers and guides, please be present. Saint Germain, please be present. Metatron, please be present. Kuan Yin, please be present. Master Mo, please be present. Master Kun Li, please be present. Christ Consciousness, please be present. Holders of space, please be present. Sanat Kumara, please be present. Abrahamanad, please be present. Alcazar, please be present. The interdimensional being, please be present. Thoth, please be present. Ra, please be present. Deep Self, please be present. Higher Self, please be present. Our Soul Ray group, please be present. I ask that we be placed in a field of protection while we do this work. I ask the Higher Self to take us through the portal of time to the event that would be of the highest good to release and integrate at this time. And I invite all souls affected by this event to return to the event, to release and integrate the energy of the event for themselves, and ask that they be placed in a field of protection while they do the work. Upon our arrival at the event, I ask the Higher Self to assist us to release and integrate all energies of the event, gently and easily, fully and completely, on all levels and through all space and time. Okay, and we're back at the event, so I'm just going to suggest you state out loud, I connect to my deep self, connect to my higher self, connect to my highest self. I ground myself to the healing center of the earth. I open myself to the healing power of the One Self. And I choose to let go of anything not useful to me now, and I choose to work with the Hathors. Okay, all the words have been said. The spell has been invoked, or the field has been set, or the time is right, or all the above. Yeah, we're, I'm literally hanging in there, and I'm doing well. I just have a lot of resources, so, but I was laughing because I have my computer set on a hassock or a footstool to get the right height, and it's a very kind of ancient color of green, and it's vinyl, and I found myself this morning opening up the field just holding this object, and it may be that this object, because when I sit up here in the upstairs with the porch to the background and light brighter because there's more windows upstairs than downstairs. There's a particular nature of the talks that, or the healing sessions or whatever, monologues, there's a particular nature to it when it's done up here. And it may be that the field, as I open up to the higher realm and I bring in information that's oftentimes useful to me and sometimes useful to others who watch. This green hassock footstool has become an anchor on many levels to the earth. It's this green color, and I've found that the state of the world and the fact of the rising vibrations, those two things might be unanchoring people a bit. So the good part of unanchoring is, in some ways, we're no longer stuck. We're no longer stuck in a state. And I feel like the world has been stuck in a state for quite some while. And this period of time up until March 23rd, 24th, trash trucks here, is a good time to just be talking and having somebody just haul out the trash. I pay attention to things. I define myself as a healer. Because I work with the disturbed energies of the earth 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, in the dream world, in the wake world, in the between world, I'm fairly aware of my state. I'll hopefully keep becoming more aware of my state. Keep becoming more present. And I feel like many of us who are doing some sort of what could be called spiritual work, that we feel like we must be doing this thing, we have to be doing this thing, it's our sole purpose to be doing this thing, but we couldn't necessarily explain this thing we're doing. I mean, some beings have given me some information that's been useful to me. On March 23rd of 1997, I was told by this being Abrahamanad, who's part of the healing field, that there would be a 28-year cycle of cleansing. 7 years physical, 7 years mental, 7 years emotional, 7 years spiritual. And we're in the last 5 to 6 months of that cleansing process. And this past year, from August to August, from the August of 2023 to August of 2024, I just found it overwhelming how much detoxing I was doing. Physically detoxing, mentally detoxing, emotionally detoxing, spiritually detoxing. It's enough to destabilize a person. And then recently we got the Tower card in the tarot deck, which is about the need to be destabilized, the need to have it fall apart so it can be reconstructed. And in a way, the people that I work with, um, the ones that call me up for sessions, they're having some intensity. But everybody's having some intensity. There's a couple people that I live with, they're having some intensity. They're talking about people that they know who are having some intensity. And I would like to discover, like I have so many processes that I can do that shift my state, and that's useful. I've done a lot of training, and that's useful. But I'm working with processes to accept my state. Accept myself right where I am. Accept you right where you are. If I find in myself ways in which I am being that don't seem true to my being, these are things I can let go of. I'm discovering more and more things all the time. So I watched a really good video for the second time with Dr. Sue Morter. And the video was about how we give our power away. And in it there was a meditation, and how we get our power back, which is even more important. But in it there was a video where she did a meditation. And the meditation had to do with picking a door, And I think in the meditation, maybe you were to look at the door, or maybe in your mind with your eyes closed, you were looking at a door. And you were to probably visualize somebody opening up that door who has a tendency to take your power. And I had done this exercise once before, and it had shifted things a bit for me. But it had been probably 10 days since I did the exercise. And I had felt the call to do it again today, and today it happened again, similar to the last time. And this time I became more aware of how often I give too much of my attention energy to an other, and how in order to kind of heal some of the trauma that you and I have experienced. So in this case, I'm looking at myself, so I'd say you and I, these two selves, these two Steves, but also you in the audience, when there is you in the audience. We have experienced many traumas, maybe many of them we've gotten over. But there's this tendency to have certain people, I'll just use, because she won't see this video, I'll just use my cat as an example, who my cat will just do things until she's got my attention. And once she's got my attention, she directs my attention to what she wants. Might be to go out the door, it might be to have some crunchies, it might be whatever. But when my cat's in the room and moving about, I can't concentrate. So my cat has my attention. So I'm doing exercises how to bring my attention back into the body. Bring my awareness back into self, and from a place of self, be aware of what's going on around me, rather than have myself be following a cat around, or a person, or my attention being on the energy of a person and their movement, kind of disrupting me. These are all things that may be things to help us become more present. That could be the intention. I'm just going to become more present. I'm just going to become more present to these things. So again, today I did like a good hour and a half of practices, breathing practices. They're just useful to just calm and center. I do a lot of work in the dream world, so I oftentimes wake up with a lot of emotional energy of the world to ground and clear and just keep bringing the world back to a place of centeredness and groundedness. So the next batch of release from this traumatized populace, I'll be ready to work with, and the others that I work with doing this. And I find that the Mayan calendar is very useful in terms of telling me what's next in some ways. It's a good divining tool. Like, where's the water? Where's the water? Where's the next burst of emotional energy going to take place in the world? And even though this calendar is like who knows how many thousands of years old, it's always up to date because it always starts in the same place but different. And it's a spiraling time. So we come across an event, and then we come around and we come across the event quite possibly from a higher perspective, and then from a higher perspective, then a higher perspective. Hopefully, we're moving in the direction of having a higher perspective. I think I'll keep. I'm making a decision right now from a centered place. And the decision I was making is, do I want to make a long video or have this be the end of this video and make a different video? Yeah. I'm just going to stick with this video, and I'm going to go ahead and take us through some sound healing work, play, however you want to look at it. So while we work with these energies of the event that we've gone back to, we can sometimes release the energetics that we're releasing and integrating. We can do it a little more efficiently with sound. So that's what we're going to do today. If you don't want to do it with sound, then this is where you click the pause button, come back later, and do the final process. But for those who are staying, this sound is for you. And if you state it out loud, I choose to work with the hot doors, they're going to be specifically working with you. They're other dimensional beings, and they can just do these things. I can't really explain it. They can just do these things. You can be watching this video an hour after I make this video, and they're present. They're just working with your energy if you choose to work with them. And everything they do is for the highest good. Okay. So I'm thinking that today, just for, you might need to hold on to the green hassock. I'm going to start off, even though I stated out loud, I ground myself to the healing center of the earth, I'm going to really pay attention. You might do this too. Like, follow your awareness, like maybe your awareness is already down in your root chakra, or maybe your awareness is up in the head. But follow your awareness and let your awareness lead you down to the pelvis, and then down to the feet. And just notice if there's any sensation anywhere in the body that's really drawing your attention. And just make note of it. Make note of how it feels. And don't hold on to it. Don't try to push it away. Just be aware of where you're feeling things, what you're feeling. And notice with your attention in your feet, and if this has happened to you also, you may find that you have your attention in your third eye and in your feet at the same time. And there's lots of other places. Your attention can be anywhere and allwheres at the same time. So if your attention is here, fine. If it's somewhere else, fine. If your attention is in your feet, fine. If your attention is in your feet, then this sound is going to be to ground, help us to ground to the healing center of the earth, and help us to become more aware of the being Abrahamanad, who is the soul of the earth, who's been orchestrating this cleansing for the past 27 and a half years, and is going to orchestrate it for the next 5 to 6 months, and then is going to continue to be the soul of the earth for approximately 13,000 years. And as far as I'm concerned, that's one heck of a commitment. And I appreciate him for doing it. Okay. So the sound for grounding ourselves to the healing center of the earth might sound like this. And you may or may not feel some tingling in the feet from having done that. You may have felt yourself really anchoring in deeply into the healing center of the earth. You may have also felt your roots spread out throughout the earth. So there's the anchoring, that's the tap root into the healing center of the earth. And then there's all the other roots that connect you with all other places in the earth. And then all of a sudden there's this feeling of like stability, because you are, besides being the being that you are, you're also in a physical body that is of the earth. So you are living in a body that's of the earth. If you're in it. If you're hanging outside, you're looking in at the earth through the body. I don't think many of you are doing that. Okay, so the next thing, I've got some awareness in the lower back area, the kidney area. The kidney is related to fight or flight. The adrenals, which are endocrine glands related to fight or flight, they do a lot of things. You can look it up. But they're attached to the kidneys. Means to or toward. So these adrenals are kind of like hanging out with the kidneys, and they're also related to fight or flight. And so we're going to make some sounds that just help release fear from the kidneys and the adrenals, and whatever else is storing, might be small intestine also stores a bit of fear as well. But we're just going to make these sounds. I'm feeling better already. You may or may not be feeling better already, but I'm feeling a whole lot better already. And now I'm going to make the sounds of the kidneys, which I already made earlier. I'm going to make them again because they're very aware right now. E can just rub your back if you feel like it. Just say thanks. You're a good low back. And you can put your hands over the kidneys again if you want, and just a little bit more. Okay, and that a bit connects the kidneys with the brain, and also moving those energies through also kind of washes out the central canal, spinal cord and the pranic tube. They just get kind of a little bit of a cleansing. And there's the dishwasher on in the background, so that might give you the image of your pranic tube getting a good washout. Although I don't think the pranic tube needs a washout, but the governing vessels of the energy that flows through the body might be utilizing a little bit of energy flow to kind of release some stuff that was stuck. Okay, so we got pretty good flow. Get up into the throat area, and it feels like a bit stuck in there, and the throat's related to grief. The chest is related to grief as well, but the throat and the thyroid are related to kind of a different grief held. And so we're just going to make the sounds of this held grief in the throat, and with the intention that if it's right for it to just release that grief, it can do so and open up the energy flow a bit more. Okay. Then I notice my attention drawn to the cheekbones, jaw, base of the skull, areas of fight or flight. So we release the kidneys, adrenals, small intestine, fight or flight. I feel like some of the fight or flight wanting to release out of the shoulders. So if you want to just bring your scapulas together and behind, bring them together and then drop them down, and then kind of hold them down for a minute. And while you hold them down, I'm going to make some sounds that will release the occiput and the jaw and the shoulders. Okay, this these bones above the ears, the parietal bones, they're kind of the size of your hands, and they go just above the ears, and they relate to grief and loss. So we're just going to make the sounds that kind of release that energy from that area. Sometimes you'll see a child, they'll just be rocking, they're just moving that energy. Okay, so my indication is I'm from whoever indicates it to me. It might be a part of myself that's acting as a higher self or highest self or deep self or basically all our self. I, you know, I like that I like that I can say, well, my guides told me to do it in case something goes wrong. I can say, well, oh, it's the guide's fault. They should have been watching for this. But we take responsibility for our actions in the world, don't we? It's the best way to go. Okay, a little bit of attention on the heart for a moment. So just going to make a little sound of love for the heart. You can put your hands over your heart if you want. If you don't mind being goofy, you can just imagine yourself feeling love for your heart. May this serve you well. And now let's go. See how long I had. 33. If I'd hit the button right then.